right, welcome to another episode of Powerhouse Conversations. I am your host, Fred Underwood, and today we have a special guest where we will talk about the legal side of NIL this episode. But as you know, Powerhouse Conversations, we bring on dope people in the sports industry to talk about how you can innovate and leverage your personal brand to grow your the time that you're in college. So today we'll have a great episode with Coger Law Firm, and we'll go from there. Hi, Karin, how are you doing?
Hi, it's actually
Oh,
Karin.
Karin, I am
So
so
Karin,
sorry.
no problem.
Yeah, so how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank
Good,
you.
good, good. And I know, like I said, you have been doing a great job in this NIL space, and making sure that you're sharing your expertise. Give the people a little bit of background, let them know how how you got into this space, and a little bit about your law firm.
Absolutely. So I founded Coger Law Firm in 2019, and it's always been a boutique firm in that we really primarily handle intellectual property issues. So trademark registration, protection, as well as copyright registration and protection, as well as maintenance. We also do some business formation. And so when the talk about NIL started, I always kept my eye on it because essentially NIL is an extension of your intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
So once it started, I jumped into the space because NIL has been around for professionals, but it just was not an opportunity that was afforded to student athletes. Therefore, I wanted to be a voice to help educate people and guide them along this path that student athletes as well as universities have not been down before.
No, I think that's and then like you said, it's 2019. That was perfect timing, right? So I think you got in right.
Yeah.
And especially, I think one thing that people don't necessarily think about is that this is new to college, but it's not something that's new to athletes, right? So people, the athletes have been able to, capitalize on their name, image, and likeness. You just put a name to it, right? We gave it we categorized it, and I think that's something that a lot of people left in the hands of others in the past, and now I think athletes are taking ownership at an earlier stage in their career. So talk a little bit about your thoughts on it and how you help them do that.
Okay. Well, I think it's a wonderful opportunity because think about this. They were in high school and were playing games on Twitch and somehow were making money off of playing video games. And then they went to college. All of a sudden, they could no longer make money. So you're here at the school, you're making money for the school, but you don't have any ways to put money into your own pocket. And the school was using your name, image, and likeness. And depending on the size of your school, they're making millions off of you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a great opportunity for the students. And one of the things that I preach, and I don't use that word lightly, is that I think that the students need to become the CEOs of their own businesses, and they are the business, they are the brand. Each of them should have, if they are going to take this seriously, if you are going to make over $600 that you have to report to the IRS and the federal government, then you should treat this as a business.
No, I definitely agree, and I think that's something that you pointed out with them being the CEOs of their business. And one of the things I like to to tell athletes and talk about is that putting together a team, right? And you talked about if you make over $600, there's certain people that you want to have on your team to help you maneuver and move through this NIL landscape, because you need somebody on the legal side, you need a CPA, you need somebody to be able to help you with the accounting and things of that nature. You need somebody in marketing, even if it is like getting some other students that on your campus that are going to help you throughout this process. You need to have people that are going to be able to handle your business while you're on the field or on the court, handling the business, and let people that know what they're doing do what they do. So I think that's something that's very crucial.
Absolutely. And the other thing about this that don't think a lot of people realize is this is opening up opportunities for non-student
Yep.
athletes on
Yep.
campus. So you mentioned the top two. I always said you need an attorney, you need a CPA, but when you start getting into these other categories such as
Hmm.
marketing, somebody filming your videos
Yep.
for you, these students, if that is their major, they can more than likely, depending on their teacher, turn that in for
Hmm.
credit, if not turn it into credit, and or start their own
Yep.
business doing that. So upon graduation, they have a portfolio to
Yep.
show what they've been doing, and they were a part of branding and marketing an athlete.
Yep, and that's like I said, it's opening up so many streams of revenue. Like like in the past, if you were a student, you had to go get a second job or go get a job while you're working. But now you can do something that you're actually enjoying and that you love and that you're already probably more than likely going to school for. If you're in a technology major and you program websites, now you can program you can set up each player on campus's website if you want to. You can charge a small fee, but then you have all this work that you're putting together in a portfolio. And now, not only in the past it was more so, okay, well, I need this work to be able to go get a job. I need to show some work. But now you've already built a book of business, and now when you get out, you can launch your own company, and you can be able to utilize all that work that you did to show, okay, well, I went to school, I have my education, but I also have been working, I've been making money, and I've also been showing that I can actually do this, and now I can run a business, and that's something that's on the flip side that's going to be very big for kids.
Yeah,
Yep.
yes, it is.
Yep. And so the other part that I wanted that leads to is talk about some of the things that they need to look out for, like with making these deals with the intellectual property. Explain IP for the athletes that don't necessarily know what that means.
Okay, so intellectual property consists of your copyrights, your trademarks, and your patents. So when you think about a trademark, think about Nike and their swoosh or the picture of Jordan. It's something that identifies the brand or the business. Now, a copyright that takes care of material that you have published.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say published, meaning whether it's this podcast
Mm-hmm.
episode, that you've written a book, even a book of poems, blog
Mm-hmm.
articles, all anything you have created and put into a medium. I'm not gonna say anything because there are certain things that cannot be copyrighted. You cannot copyright a cooking recipe, but you can copyright your blog that you wrote around that cooking recipe. So what you create in a patent is if you have an invention. So I would say those are the three main differences. But when it comes to name, image, and likeness, the question is how are you using your name, image, and likeness? So your name, if you are working with a company that's going to put your name, your last name on the back of your jersey, that's one way to use your name. If you are like some other athletes who have made a name for themselves, such as Jordan Brand, that's using your name. Your image, of course, is your uh, a picture or video of you, and your likeness. Let's say, and this is actually how all of this got started.
Mm-hmm.
Some student athletes saw themselves, the images of themselves
Mm-hmm.
on the EA video
Right.
games, and they were not getting paid for that.
Yep.
And so a lot of student athletes, are doing all of these things, or they have the opportunity to do all of these things. And now, yeah, now it's open for
Right.
business.
So can you
Oh,
go ahead?
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna to ask you, do you have some examples of some athletes in the NCAA that you see that are have protected their name, images, and likeness in a good way, or any examples?
I think Jordan Brand is the best. One of the things that we need to look out for is who owns your name, image, and
Mm-hmm.
likeness, and making sure that you are the person who owns it. So, for instance, now I'm writing an article about the NBA player. I think it's Luca. I cannot pronounce
Look
his
at
name.
Doncic.
Dominic. Thank you very much. So the controversy around this is that his mother, filed a trademark using his
Hmm.
name, using his brand with his
Hmm.
permission. However, now it's a couple of years later. He is signed to somebody
Hmm.
else, and they went to go file trademarks, and the trademark was rejected because of the trademark that his mother owns. And mom isn't giving it up.
Right.
so, so that leads me to one of the questions you asked before. What are the things that the student should look out for? Number one, if you have a contract, there should be somebody reviewing that contract for you. If if it's especially if it's multiple pages and multiple
Hmm.
paragraphs, somebody should be looking at that for you. So a lot of student athletes are signing these rights away. They don't even know what they're signing. So some of the brands are asking for perpetual use
Hmm.
of NIL. So that means they can use it forever. Well, what if you and the brand break up
Right.
and you don't want to be associated with that brand anymore? Or, you find out their values and your values do not align. Well, what are you going to do?
Right.
I've seen contracts with marketing companies where the marketing company will say, hey, we'll file the trademark for you. You own the trademark, but only if you ask for the trademark within a certain amount of time. And if you do not do these things, they are not transferring the trademark over to you. All student athletes need to own their own, if not their company, uh, their own trademarks, unless it's something again that's strategic that you have talked to other professionals about. What else comes up? Oh, for copyrights. So, did you know that if somebody takes a picture of you, even though it's a picture of you, you don't own it?
Right.
So, so that is huge right now in the celebrity world. And there are a number of cases about this where celebrities have seen pictures of themselves on Instagram and thought, oh, this is a great
Right.
picture of me. Let me post it on my Instagram. But the picture belongs to the
Right.
photographer. That celebrity didn't get permission for that picture. Um, and, and they're being sued for thousands upon thousands of dollars, especially those Getty images. Don't any of you guys use
Yeah.
Getty images unless you get a license from Getty. Um, but just think about that. You're out with your friends, they're snapping pictures, you steal each other's pictures. Like, no
Right.
big deal. That person can turn around and sue you for
Right.
and make money off of your
Right.
image.
No, that is something that I forgot where I heard it from, but that is something that's very interesting. So it's like every every photographer that is goes to the game, they own that image, even if it's of you. And that's something that's extremely important because, like you said, the athletes, they might see a picture online and it's like, oh, this is my picture. They repost it, and now they're in some trouble because they didn't get permission.
Yes,
And that's something that I guess a lot of athletes have to be aware of, because the bigger they get, the more people that are going to try to, make some money off them.
absolutely.
Yeah, and so another thing that I do want to see if I could help out people in that situation. Is there any way to they have is the only way around it is that they have to go to that person, and do they have to try to purchase it, or just like what's the workaround?
So the workaround is what typically is happening, especially among young people, are they're them giving somebody photo
Hmm.
credit. They put photo
Gotcha.
credit, they put the other person's, but is that going to hold up in court? The best thing to do is to get written permission.
Gotcha.
So literally email, do I have permission to post this, myself. That will save you a
All right.
long, long way, down the road. And so again, you just have to be careful because it's such a gray area right
Gotcha.
now. And as you see, the law does not move as swiftly as technology
Right.
does. So that area of law really gets sticky. And you really only hear about it with, like I said,
The big.
the major
Right.
celebrities
Right. Right. Right.
or
Paparazzi and stuff like
just a
that. Yeah.
celebrity
Yep.
photographer. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's something that's very interesting because, like you said, they people may be going around and saying, "Oh, I did photo credit," but that person that may not necessarily hold up in court. So the bigger you get as an athlete, that's something that you definitely want to pay attention to. I did have another question surrounding these brand deals with for example. Mikey Williams signed a brand deal with Puma, but he just committed to if I'm not mistaken, I think Memphis is a Adidas school. But nonetheless, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but Mikey Williams, he has a Puma deal, but he committed to a school that's not with Puma. How do you know how that's going to work or how that works?
Yes. And so, first of all, any contract that you enter into should have a clause on ways to terminate the
Mm-hmm.
contract. I told you don't want anything in perpetuity. Um, Maybe you have to give notice, but you don't want to get rid of your Puma deal, right?
Right.
Just because you're at an Adidas school. So this is where you work with your compliance
Mm-hmm.
office, and there can be some rules around them. So, for instance, if he's playing for the school, if he's on the court and he's supporting the school, he's wearing Adidas.
Mm,
If he's out on his own court, he's wearing Puma.
gotcha.
That's a workaround.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. And that's something that I definitely I think is going to play a major role in these because I'm seeing a lot of schools now they're signing NIL deals for the players and things of that nature. So it's going to be very very interesting.
So it's funny that you mentioned that. So literally 2 weeks ago, the NCAA just came down with new NIL policies for the schools to help delineate what the schools can and cannot
Okay.
do. Now, some of the schools have opened full departments, or they have partnered with the NBC.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's again, this is 2 weeks old.
Right.
So
Right.
we're gonna see how that plays.
Yeah, no, that's going to be interesting. So, and that leads me to NIL collectives. Have you done work with NIL collectives, or how does that work for the people that aren't familiar with NIL collectives?
Okay, so just by way of education, the NIL collective is somewhat like what was considered the old boys
Yep.
club back in the day. So typically, a collective is a group of people, alumni, local people who support the school that want the school to do better. They come together, form the collective, and they are the ones that are going out and getting the brand deals and the NIL deals and presenting them to the students. Now, I can tell you I have not worked with a collective directly. Um, I am willing to do so though.
Shameless plug.
But some
Yep.
schools, to, because again, you're getting a bigger pot of money and more deals when they work quote unquote
Mm-hmm.
collectively.
Yep, and so I think that's very interesting because, like you said, it's a way that these boosters clubs can now legally funnel in money to the athletes. But uh, you're seeing a lot of the they're paying the entire students and they're paying a salary. Like if they're paying for a team and they're getting a salary. Like I saw SMU is paying their I think football and basketball players a salary. So how does that work?
So it depends on whether it's going through the
Mm-hmm.
collective or whether it's coming directly from the
Mm-hmm.
brand. Um, so I'm trying to think of the best way to couch this. So in my capacity, I do work with other people who share resources in the
Mm-hmm.
industry. So one of my partners, they help form collectives. So if you guys are interested in, let me know. And they figure out what the donors want to
Mm-hmm.
do, and they give them that option. So if they want to support the whole team, they can. If they only want to support one
Right.
student, they can. If they want to support, the women's soccer team, they can do that. And the way that the fans participate in this, because NIL is not legally NIL is not supposed to be you're getting money just
Right.
for the sport.
Right.
There has to be thing that they
Hmm.
do. It's called consideration and contract.
Right.
So what is this something you can do? You can make appearances. You can
Hmm.
have, and I'm talking about the collectives right now. You can have a special meet and
Yep.
greet with the members of the collective. They can, forgive me for this term, but you can set up a student athlete OnlyFans.
Hmm.
Um, and just because what OnlyFans
No,
is
I get
doing
it.
is
I
so
get it.
public. So if you want to have, special access to a student
Right.
athlete, and you arrange, if you want to have a talk, or you have a son or a
Right.
daughter that wants to speak to that particular
Right.
athlete, that could be a part of their collective
Right,
dues.
right. And I think that's a good distinction to make because a lot of people think of it and they think of it as pay for play, right? And realistically, the way it's supposed to be set up is that these athletes are supposed to be like I said, having something that they're doing. So if it's like if they have if the collective is set up, and they have nonprofits, and hey, I want you to go talk to this elementary school, or go, we have this youth program, come help speak to them, go teach at this camp. There's a lot of different ways that the collectives can be set up, and making sure that they are actually doing something and giving back, but then you're funneling in money to help the student athlete. That's the right way or the perfect way to do it, and we don't know if all schools are doing that way, but that is the right way.
Correct.
Yeah, and so I think that is something that is is going to be very important for the landscape of college football, mostly because that's where you're mostly seeing these NIL collectives and all the controversy that comes along with it. How do you feel that it's going to change in the legal ramifications that are going to come along with it to make sure that some of those things that we don't want to happen happens.
That remains to be seen. What can happen is that the school or somebody reporting to the school can say, "Hey, I think this is pay for
Mm-hmm.
play," and there can be an NCAA
Mm-hmm.
investigation. Um, in the rules that came out, I think they were like
Mm-hmm.
October 26th. They discussed that and what the ramifications. They didn't say what the
Right.
ramifications are going to be, but they said that there is going to be an investigation. And so people really need to watch out and make sure that the student athlete is doing something for their NIL deal.
Right. No, I think that's going to be very important because you're seeing a lot of people signing. I think Dion talked about it. You see a lot of signings, and a lot of deals that's going around, but not a lot of action is going on with the deal. So I think that's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to have a big impact on the way college sports is done.
Exactly. And there is one myth I want to dispel, though, because we talked about NIL surrounding college football.
Mm-hmm.
It allows students think if I'm not playing college football or not playing college basketball, I can't get an NIL
Mm-hmm.
deal. And they're not even applying for them. But in reality, right now, um, college football players have the most NIL deals. Then there are college basketball players. I forget who's third. But women get a lot
Mm-hmm.
of NIL deals, and people don't know about
Yep.
that. So why? A lot of women were already on
Yep.
Instagram and TikTok doing their thing. They already had
Yep.
followers, a million followers, but now they can get paid
Yep.
for it. Um, and that's why women
No.
women are really killing it in the NIL
No,
deals.
I had an episode about this about women in sports, and I think that is something that I think they are uniquely skilled to be able to capitalize on NIL deals because women, young ladies are the ones that are on TikTok and are on Instagram, and they are are the most engaging, and they have the biggest followings, and I think that they are able to capitalize on this and then take that and be able to do whatever they want afterwards. They can start whatever type of business. They can start a makeup brand or whatever because they're gonna the thing that is different from the past is that you played your sport for 4 years, you gain fans, and you go and you have to figure out life afterward. themselves. Now, what NIL does is that it positions you. You gain a bunch of fans, and if you're doing it right, then you keep a bunch of fans and you build a community. And now you can take that community and do whatever you want with it. And so I think that's something that's going to be big for
Exactly.
them.
Right. And another thing that's happening is, I talk about that you should be the CEO of your own brand, but what if you want to do something totally different?
Mm-hmm.
I had a client that, like you mentioned, after she was done playing the sport, she wanted to open up a business doing classes. I know one of the girls that they talk about all the time in NIL. She and her father founded Playbook. Um, I think she was doing DIY projects at Florence and so people who are looking to provide NIL deals are not necessarily directly related to sports.
Mm-hmm.
So I always advise athletes as you're building your social media following, you know, don't have, your social media only be you playing that
Mm-hmm.
sport. What else do you have in life? What do you like to do? Where do you go? Do you hang out with your family? Do you have hobbies? When I talk about, one of my partners that helps administer NIL money, one of the student athletes had a deal with a fishing company, and got paid, three, I think it was 350,000, in NIL deals, on
Yep.
fishing. So I always say shoot other aspects of your life because it isn't all just about basketball.
Right. And I think that's something that you could, some, like you said, somebody may come to you just because of, oh, I didn't know he was interested in this. It could be whatever. It could be fishing. It could be gaming. It could be, I don't know. You could like a certain, you could like a certain drink or certain food. If you posting about it, then they may approach you, and now you have a brand partnership that you're able to show and make some money off of it. And this is something that you were going to do anyway. So I always encourage the athletes to make sure that they are positioning themselves by just being themselves, because the best deals that they're going to come across are the ones that are genuine and unique to them. And they're going to be able to promote it, and not get, because I always see these athletes that they get a deal and now they have to try to act and promote some brand, and it just doesn't feel natural. It doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good because it's not natural for them. They're just, hey, you have a lot of followers, promote this for me, and that's not the way it should be, and that's not the way that's going to work the best for you.
And then the other thing too, people assume that you have to have a lot of followers.
Mm-hmm.
And clients have said to me, "Oh, I don't have that many followers, so I didn't, about a NIL opportunity, but I didn't apply for it." What brands are looking for more than just the number of followers is a connection that you have to your community. So, say you have 2,000 followers, you can still get an NIL deal.
Right.
But let's say you have a million followers and you don't engage with them at all. Yes, some of those people are going to buy whatever you're wearing
Mm-hmm.
or doing just because of who you are, but the brands really want or organic
Right.
relationship between the influencer and the community. And then the other thing, when we were talking about different NIL deals, I thought this was funny. I just came from a law firm owners conference, and Morgan presented. So John Morgan is, one of the owners of Morgan. Morgan,
Mm-hmm.
personal injury attorney, offices all across the country. He gave out an NIL deal. So, a lot of people don't think, why would a lawyer give out an NIL deal? But think about, when you sprained your ankle or you went through physical therapy or you went to a chiropractor. These are all people that are looking, to give students NIL deals. And it's, again, built on relationships. You could talk about your injury or, how they helped you or what medical device, there's out there. So the world is wide
Right.
open for the type of deals that are out.
No, I think that's something that definitely you have to get very creative with who you're partnering with, right? Because even when from like the one offs that happen where the kid has to sue the school or the NCAA and things of that nature. Those are those lawyers and things of that nature. That's it's somebody that they may want to partner with you to just be on the tips of the tongue or the first of mind when it comes up. Okay, well, if this does happen, like you never want things to happen, but if this does happen, this is I can call this law firm or I can call this person or whatever, this physical therapy. Like there's going to be all types of opportunities out here for people. They just have to, the businesses and the brands that you're going to be working with have to know that you have some value and that you're going to bring value to them. So I think that's something that they definitely need to pay attention to. I know we're getting towards the end of our time, but I do want to talk to you about, we're a little bit over a year and a half, as we're coming up on the new year, of NIL. It's been the Wild Wild West. What have you seen? What are some of the biggest changes that you have seen, and what are you looking forward to in the future?
Some of the biggest changes, and what am I looking forward to? Let me think. Is the involvement in the
Mm-hmm.
schools. Some schools are very hands off. They're like, I don't know what this is, so I don't want to
Yeah.
get involved. I've spoken to people affiliated with the Ivy League
Mm-hmm.
schools. They've had that thought process. A lot of the
I was going to
HBCUs
bring
have
that
that
up.
thought process. Yeah, I went to Hampton. There's
Okay.
my stuff back
I went to
there.
Alabama. I went to Alabama State. So
Yeah.
I was definitely going to bring up HBCUs.
Cool. Howard Law School. Um, but I think that those opportunities are going to open up as more people learn about them.
Mm-hmm.
I think again the involvement of the school will change. So under the prior NIL policies, like coaches really weren't supposed to tell student athletes about NIL policies. With the new policies, they can let them know about an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity that they heard of or that they know of, but they cannot
Mm-hmm.
negotiate that opportunity for them. So I'm gonna let you know when I do this class about the NIL rules because it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's
No,
a lot.
that's.
But the other major thing that's on the horizon is NIL opportunities for high school students.
Mm-hmm.
So there's approximately 18 and 19 states that now allow it. A lot of parents have reached out, like, "Oh my gosh, my son's 13 and he has this many followers, doing this. Do you think you can get an NIL deal?" So, my first question is, what state are you in? Do
Right.
you want to, risk eligibility, if your state does not allow NIL. So it's on the
Yep.
horizon here in Pennsylvania. They just proposed some new legislation in Philadelphia about setting up a program for NIL for students. So I think that the rise of the rise of the young student
Right.
athletes are going to increase. I think more knowledge is going to increase. So those are two biggest
Yep. No, I think that's definitely important. Like I said, the younger the athlete uh, they're going to be able to get NIL deals, and it's going to broaden that even more because you think about it like, okay, well, you tell high school athletes that only a certain percentage of high school athletes are going to go on to play college. You tell college athletes that only a certain percentage are going to go on to play in the pros. And so you just think about, okay, we were already opening up to college and it was crazy, and now you open up to high school, it's going to be even more people that are trying to work on these deals. So I think that's definitely something from a legal aspect that you definitely they're going to need people like yourself to make sure they're able to navigate these waters. So that's something that they definitely want to pay attention to. I do want to go back
right.
to go ahead.
I was I was just going to say the third change is you're going to see more government wanting to get involved.
Mm,
So they've already proposed legislation. Like I said, in the city of Philadelphia, they're proposing legislation at the Senate. So there's going to be more government involvement. So that's the third.
Gotcha. I do want to, because I think we can close out with some good advice. I do want to go back to, accept HBCU grads. So I definitely always want to make sure that I give some game to the HBCUs. I had a young lady on from Clark, Atlanta last week. And we talked about the support of the schools or lack thereof, right? And so I do want to you to be able to give some advice to athletes that don't have all the resources and don't have help with people guiding them and understanding what to do and how to do it. What advice would you give those HBCU athletes?
Reach out to me.
That's easy.
No, but besides that, definitely review the NCAA website,
Hmm.
become aware of the rules. Um, trying to think what else. Prepare
Hmm.
themselves right now for NIL. So even if your school isn't talking about it, and this advice goes out to HBCU students, to high school
Hmm.
students, you never know. NIL deal is right around the
Hmm.
corner. So right now, up your social media. Make sure you're getting those numbers and you're getting your
Hmm.
engagement because you might be one engagement
Right.
away, from it. So, and that also puts you out there to tell unique stories.
Yep.
Don't be the average person. Talk about your journey. Talk about your HBCU experience. There is I have heard that there are some companies that are coming to the marketplace sites and they're saying, I am looking for HBCU
Right.
students. I literally had a situation where somebody was looking for um, HBCU females in the South,
Right.
and it was very hard to find them. So make it so people can find
Right.
you. Use your name on social media.
Right.
Use your name, have the email address that connects to you. You don't want to use like hotbunny at
Right.
Gmail.
Right. Right.
You want to use something where, Fred Underwood
Right.
at Gmail. Post your stats, or not your stats, but post your
Yep.
positions, the sport that you
Hmm.
play. Be consistent, but you definitely want to be found. And number two, go out for the deals yourself.
Yep.
You do not have to wait for a company to come to you. So uh, I always point to Raekwon Smith, dubbed the king of
Yep.
NIL. He said when NIL came out, he immediately reached out to 100 companies, and now he has 80 NIL
Yep.
deals.
Yep.
So he didn't wait for the deal to come to him. He didn't wait for anybody to go to Norfolk State.
Right.
He look at what he did based on initiative.
Yep.
So opportunity is for you, and I look forward to more opportunities for HBCU students as well. And I do want to shout out Grambling because I know Grambling is working with a collective,
It's
and
good.
they also have partnered with Urban Edge Network, who's partnered with Athlete, and Grambling students are featured in Times Square. So
Cool.
the opportunities are
Yep,
there.
yep, and I always make sure I tell people, tell athletes to shoot your shot. Like I think it's something that it's a skill that you're going to need throughout life. Being able to sell and pitch yourself. That's something that you're going to always have to do. And that's something that if you learn that skill early on, how to pitch yourself and how to go sell yourself to other people, and that's something that you're gonna be a step up on everybody else, regardless of what you do, regardless of what sport. If you play sports at a professional level, if you go on into the workforce, if you go on to be an entrepreneur, whatever it may be, I think shooting your shot, learning how to shoot your shot, is going to be the most important skill that you can gain.
Absolutely.
Yep. And so I do want to thank you again for coming on. I really enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed having this conversation with you. So I really appreciate it. Let everyone know, where to find you. What do you have coming up next, and how they can get in touch with you.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Um, I am at Coger Law Firm, so Coger Law Firm.com. I can be found on TikTok and Instagram at Karin Coger ESQ, Karin Coger on LinkedIn. Um, I think those are the
Mm-hmm.
main ways to reach
Yep.
out, as well as Facebook. I just know a lot of young people are on Facebook.
Yeah. No.
But Yeah, my DMs are open. You can ask me questions in the DM, and we can, make an arrangement to have a conversation.
No, great. And I really appreciate it. Make sure you all tune in to the next episode as we wrap up. Some of the free resources that we have, you go to the website. We have some of the email templates. We have some of the budgeting things, and we have the players, the Hustlers Playbook coming out next month. To help you all navigate some of these technology and the technology behind leveraging your personal brand. So see y'all again next week, and thanks again for coming on. Thanks.
Thank you.